Welcome to the Lockdown Cricket Show. Exciting times are ahead in Pakistan cricket with South African team coming to Pakistan and the PSL just around the corner. Pakistan team is expected to be announced tonight or tomorrow sometime, and we will bring a detailed program on that as well. However, currently we are going to have the first of our 7 shows before the PSL about the various teams that have been selected. Today we will have a general overview of the teams, see who might be the big stars coming into this year's PSL, as well as some of the unexpected omissions from the different teams. So let's get right to it. To start off with, Karachi Kings are the reigning champions. In the latter part of the PSL, Babar Azam was their go-to batsman who actually was responsible for their last 2 victories. This wasn't obviously the ideal situation, but winning the trophy, well, it basically smooths a lot of issues. In the current year's PSL, they actually have a slightly more balanced side. They have traded Alex Hales to Islamabad, who was their opener, for Colin Ingram, who is a middle-order batsman. Alex Hales did well along with Babar Azam in previous year's PSL. However, Colin Ingram has played some fantastic innings for Karachi over the years, and he might bring some more stability to the middle order. Other stars in the team are Shajil Khan, Amir Yamin, Muhammad Amir, Imad Wasim, and Dan Christian. The bowling department, they have relied mostly on the local talent that did deliver the previous year as well, but this would be an interesting one. While the team is no longer top heavy, they will still need somebody like a Shajil Khan to really deliver in order for them to repeat the performance they did last year. However, a victory this year would be a little bit difficult. One surprise omission from this year's Karachi Kings is Umar Khan. The 21-year-old left-arm spinner was extremely impressive in the 4th edition of PSL, barely got a match to play in the 5th edition, which was a bit of a surprise. Perhaps he wasn't a good fit for the team's balance. But omitting him altogether and eventually him not getting picked by any other franchise was a shocker. And personally, I feel omitting Umar Khan was a bad choice on part of all the franchises in the PSL. Moving on to last year's runners-up, the Lahore Qalandars look like a formidable side. They have some of the strongest names in T20 cricket, and they have a whole bunch of them. Mohammad Hafiz, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Haris Rao, Dilbar Hussain, Ben Dunk, Samit Patel, Sohail Akhtar, Fakhar Zaman, and Rashid Khan. Now this really is a tough lineup to beat. Rashid Khan might be a very interesting name over here. Lahore have previously had Lami Chane in their lineup, and he was a handful to play. Rashid Khan will definitely be an excellent choice in his place, and he will likely rattle a lot of the batting lineups. With Shaheen Afridi, Haris Rauf on song, this is going to be a tough bowling lineup to bat against. You also have Dilbar Hussain, who is brilliant, and then you have a batting lineup that has Ben Dunk and the underrated Samit Patel. Fakhar Zaman can fire anytime. Sohail Akhtar has been firing a lot, and then we have Mohammad Hafiz. The professor was really the best batsman in the T20 cricket last year. So definitely one of the hot favorites. But again, it's Lahore Qalandars. They blow hot and cold, so we are never sure until it happens. What's your take on the teams of Lahore and Karachi? Do leave us some comments and say who would you like to see and who would you think should not be in the team. Just like Lahore, Islamabad too has a very strong outfit this time around. They will be led by Shadab Khan. They have gotten Hassan Ali. Alex Hales is back in the team. Hussain Talat, Asif Ali, Phil Salt, Musa Khan, Chris Jordan, Fahim Ashraf. Those are some very good names when it comes to T20 cricket. Even Colin Munro, who's recently shifted to the US to play professional cricket from New Zealand. And then you have Iftikhar Ahmed and the recently debuted Test cricketer Zafar Gohar. They have some great finishing power over here. It's not going to be an easy team to beat. Management will have to do a lot. And should the team gel together nicely as they did in the first and the third season, they are serious contenders for the trophy. One other interesting aspect that Islamabad United went for was they relied heavily on the English players. Apart from Colin Munro, all their foreign players are from England. This might be a good strategy because if you're more comfortable with a certain culture and you have the players from that culture, that can help the team. Instead of having players from 6 different nationalities, you just focus on the one kind of culture and one kind of talk that they will need in the future. Multan Sultans have had an up and down run over the years in the PSL. They've fielded really good teams and they have gotten close to qualifying for the next round before the 5th season, but they never could. In the 5th season they performed well, but when it really mattered, they couldn't win matches and eventually could not make it to the final. Now, if you look at their team, they have the likes of Shahid Afridi, Riley Russo, Chris Lynn from Australia, Imran Tahir, the local boy from South Africa, Huzail Shah, Shan Masood, Usman Qadir, James Wins from England, Sohail Khan, Mohammad Rizwan. Somebody like Sohail Tanveer will come in really handy. They have Carlos Brathwaite, Sohaib Maqsood. These two guys, if they can fire, they can really sink the opposition. Now this team is really competitive, but will it be able to win an event? Well, that has to be seen. I personally feel they should be able to make it to the final 4, but after that, how they'll perform is anyone's guess. Quetta Gladiators were the champion in the 4th edition of PSL and they could not make it to the playoffs in the 5th. Quetta has had a very consistent run over the years in PSL and they have had a pretty decent team. However, last year they really could not live up to the expectations. One of the factors was their games were all over the place. They had to play in different cities of Pakistan within a very brief period. So the traveling certainly did take its toll on them. The team has a number of star players with Sarfaraz Ahmed. Chris Gale is a very good introduction into the team. Tom Banton from England. The Aussie Ben Cutting, who really played well for them last year, is still there. Mohammad Hassan the Quickie, Azam Khan, who is the new big hitter around the block. Naseem Shah, Usman Shanwari, Zahid Mahmood, Anwar Ali, the all-rounder, is there and he's somebody who can really deliver on his day. Cameron Delport is playing for Quetta this time around and he can be a handful. They also have the services of somebody like Adele Stein, who was with Islamabad previously, and although he's not his former self from a few years back, but he can be really dangerous. You also have Qais Ahmed from Afghanistan and Mohammad Nawaz. Both of them can be a handful with their spin bowling. Quetta could be a contender, but it appears to be a team that's relatively top heavy. Sarfaraz is not in the best form of his life. They'll have to rely a lot on Azam Khan, and he's also more or less in the top order. Their middle order might have some tough time, and reliance on Ben Cutting alone wouldn't just. Their surprise ambition this time around has been Ahmed Shahzad. He played a handful of games last year and he had a really horrible run. Well, he basically couldn't score a run in some of the games, but it's a bit of a surprise that he was omitted. When it comes to Peshawar Zalmi, this team has been consistent as well. Last year they were in the playoffs, but they could not make it to the final. And this time around, I think if you look at the team's composition, this is one of the weaker Peshawar Zalmi teams we have seen in PSL history. Starting off with somebody like Wahab Riaz, Shoaib Malik, David Miller, who's playing his first PSL, a very good option. Kamran Akmal, Liam Livingston from England, Haider Ali, the new sensation, and he's pretty good. Umayyad Asif is back with them. Imamul Haq will be part of the team as well. Saqib Mahmood, the new English speedster, is also in Peshawar. Mujibur Rahman from Afghanistan is actually a very seasoned T20 player, and I think he's going to be a handful for them. They also have Rabi Bopara. Now, Rabi Bopara is one of the players that I feel can deliver on the given day, and he's the consistent player that you need in the team. And I think he'll add a lot of balance to the middle order. But overall, if you look at it, they are a bit top heavy, and this seems to be a typical problem of PSL teams. They rely mostly on their top four, and then they have their bowling all-rounders or their bowlers. Now this is a bit of a tricky situation, because you don't want to have a team that's too much reliant on batting or bowling alone, or a team whose batting is relying solely on top four. This situation can become a problem. So if you ask for my opinion, with Hassan Ali gone, although he wasn't in the best of form last year, I think Peshawar Zalmi might struggle this year, and they might even miss out on the trip to the second round. Overall, I think the teams are good. In my opinion, Lahore Qalandars, Quetta Gladiators, and Islamabad United are the toughest teams in this competition. But this is T20. You really can never be certain where it's going to go. So this should be a lot of fun, and I think that we'll see some really good contests. The matches are played exclusively in Lahore and Karachi, so the pitches will likely be flat, especially in Karachi, and we can expect some really high scoring games. Some of the surprise omissions from the event are Junaid Khan, obviously, Abdullah Shafiq, who recently made his debut for Pakistan. Then we also have Ahmed Shahzad. From the foreign players, we have David Malan. We have somebody like Moeen Ali, who was expected to play, and he actually did play pretty well for Multan in the previous edition. So it should be a good mix. Some players unfortunately missed out, but that's what cricket is all about. Now we have a little bit of a gift for you. So guys, name a team that you think will win this tournament by the 20th of February. If you get 100 comments, we will give you a gift hamper from the Lockdown Show. Please do like and share our videos and subscribe to the channel. That's really big help for us. Have a good one.